the sixth trial. And field of 9 for trial 6. The runners are heading up towards the tab.com.au mobile barrier. Think on the run. William Pilgrim move up. Chestervale Jet drawn out wide. Father Frank goes forward. Johnny Walkin Shoes. Aces and Eights has pulled its way up to the front line. Aces and Eights. So it looks like Aces and Eights will start off the front row here. Johnny Walkin Shoes drawn on the inside. Father Frank's eased back to the second row. Broadway Playboy. And also Waller's King. So just about set. They're away. Aces and Eights did start off the front line and goes forward. Chestervale Jet began well, showing some speed. Think on the run, but out wide. Chestervale Jet will go to the lead. Past Aces and Eights. Think on the runner as they really slow off the tempo early. Next one, Johnny Walkin Shoes. Going off one off the inside, Waller's King, but really wants some cover. Being passed by Father Frank, Weeman Pilgrim. Broadway Playboys back in second last position. And last of all was She's All Trouble. As they go into the back straight, no pace on. Chestervale Jet leads over Aces and Eights, who's pulled hard. And the score ended up on the front line. Is now going to the lead. Getting past Chestervale Jet. Think on the run's a clear third. Johnny Walkin Shoes, Father Frank, Reeman Pilgrim. Waller's King's back third last, trailed up by Broadway Playboy, and last of all was She's All Trouble. Lead time 50.1. So the leader is now Aces and Eights, leads by 8 metres. In second, Chestervale Jet, 12 metres away, Think on the Runner. A gap of 8 metres then is Johnny Walkin Shoes, then Father Frank, Weeman Pilgrim. Waller's King, named after the great rugby league player Wally Lewis, is back in third last position. Of course, a former boom 2-year-old in Queensland, Waller's King. Broadway Playboys in second last, and last of all is She's All Trouble. First quarter 31.7. Aces and Eights leads by 8 metres. Chestervale Jet second. About 10 metres away in third spot was Think on the Runner. Well back in the field on the marker pegs, Johnny Walkin Shoes, then Father Frank. Weeman Pilgrim well back in the field with Waller's King. In second last is Broadway Playboy, and last of all 8 metres away She's All Trouble. 40 metres spans the field, 31.7. 30.9 the sections, the half 62.6. Aces and Eights leads by 8 metres. In second, Chestervale Jet, who's closed the gap now. In third spot, Think on the Runner. Then Johnny Walkin Shoes, Weeman Pilgrim to the outside. On the marker pegs and on a loose rein is Father Frank, now making ground. Broadway Playboy around Waller's King. And last of all was She's All Trouble. Coming up to the end of the third quarter, 30.1 that section. Aces and Eights leads over Chestervale Jet. To the outside is Johnny Walkin Shoes, very wide. Broadway Playboy around Weeman Pilgrim, then Think on the Runner. Into the straight, Aces and Eights has drifted off. Getting the run via the garage sprint lane is Chestervale Jet. Third was Johnny Walkin Shoes, wider out Broadway Playboy. It's going to the lead though, Chestervale Jet from Aces and Eights, and Chestervale Jet beats Aces and Eights. Third, maybe Broadway Playboy, a nose in front of Johnny Walkin Shoes, then Weeman Pilgrim and Father Frank, Waller's King. Back to the tail of the field was Think on the Runner, and last one, She's All Trouble. Last quarter 30.2, the half 60.3, Aldebaran Park mile rate 24.4. So Chestervale Jet, number 5, was able to lead out, took the trail behind Aces and Eights, who pulled very hard in the run. Aces and Eights did fight on quite well after over racing badly, but Chestervale Jet has been able to use an inside run and get the prize. Aces and Eights just wobbled a little bit on the home bend, and Chestervale Jet got the inside run before the sprint lane came up, but was still able to win and win well. Broadway Playboy coming from the back, picked up some ground in that photo for third with Johnny Walkin Shoes, who was a clear third as they straightened, boxed on quite well in the latter stages. Here's the numbers: 5, 8 and 1. 5 Chestervale Jet from 8 Aces and Eights. 1 Johnny Walkin Shoes is held third in front of number 9 Broadway Playboy. So it's 5, 8, 1 and 9. And fifth going to number 3, which was Weeman Pilgrim. So 5, 8, 1, 9 and 3. 2.5 by 4.5 the margins. 2.5 by 4.5. The time 2:53.1. The mile rate 2:44. The last mile of 2:3.1. Last half 60.3, and the last quarter of 30.2. 2:53.1, 2:44. The last mile of 2:3.4. Home in 60.3 and 30.2. 2.5 by 4.5 the margins to trial 6. Now, just going back to trial 5, horse 3, Soldier of Fortune, was driven by Dale Afford. Dale Afford was the driver for race 5, number 3. AFFORD, Dale Afford from South Australia. So that's the driving change that we missed there. Trial 7, it'll come up in about 5 or 6 minutes' time. In trial 7, note that Chris Alford will drive Hold On To Your Horse.